in your partner's phone hapo kuna ndimu. Kabla iwe ndimu, je, ndimu huanza ikiwa mbegu? Does an onion begin as a seedling stage? Does the ndimu begin as a seedling when it is not bitter? Can we arrest it at early stage? But if we allow ourselves to be shrouded, then to be secret, then we must ask ourselves, for how long? Why then do we want to live in a lie? That, okay, my phone is private, it is confidential for me. Allow me have it, because if I check on your phone, I will cry. And if I don't check on your phone, I will not cry. Does it mean then there is no problem? The mere assumption or acceptance that if I touch my partner's phone, I will cry is simply an acceptance or a go away that there is some problem. Welcome, my viewers. Out of research, out of extensive conversations with many of my viewers, who include you, it now comes to light that many of our marriages are breaking. And before they get to a brink of breakage, there is a process. There is something that happens. Welcome, so that we discuss and go deeper into what is destroying our marriages. At Milestone Sociologists, it can be done. It will be done. Me and you only need to do our part.
Hello, welcome to Milestone Sociologist. This is another session that we are going to have time with our sociologist. My name is Hilda Lumati. Now, today we are going to discuss, is it okay to go through your partner's phone? Is it invasion of privacy? This and more on this session. Just stay here. Welcome to another session of you engaging with the audience. Now, when I mention the word phones, I'm thinking I will have text messages, I will even have emails, and I have different social media platforms where I'm interacting with people. To me, that is privacy. Now, when you come and tell me you want to go through my phone, you are invading my privacy. What do you think about phones and secrecy?
A very good question, and a topic that I would say must have come of age now. And it's good for us to engage with. And allow me to begin, as my normal way, to redefine concepts, so that when we define the concepts, we are able to engage deeper into them. So the first word is secrecy. What is a secret? A secret is something that you want to keep away from somebody. Reasons, let us keep them aside. Let's hold that section first. Number two, let us define the word that you used, a phone. It being privacy. What is privacy? Privacy means that something that is private, you don't want it to be also known by somebody else. It is within your domain. It is only to be consumed and known by you. That means it is private, and maybe sometimes even confidential. Let us put it aside. But you also mentioned another concept of secrecy, or something that is you don't want to be known. But then let us join these two concepts together, and then we go deeper into them, we delve deeper into them. Secrecy and this privacy. Let us look at what is within those text messages that you want it to be very private. Why do you want them to be very private? And then ask ourselves a certain fundamental question. To whom is it private? To whom are you keeping the secrets from? Why are you keeping them? When are you keeping them? What makes you keep them away? These are fundamental questions that we must go directly and clearly about them. That when we understand them, we will see why it is not possible to do that. And when we do that, it will only be postponing a problem that will later on come. Let me engage even further and say, to whom are we saying privacy? Again, it is a husband and a wife. It is a boyfriend and a girlfriend who are calling themselves fiancé. And remember, we are talking this within the parameters of marriage. That marriage is an institution of two. Why then do you want to keep secrecy? Why do you want them to keep to be private from you? Then fundamentally, we must even go further. Are the problems that will germane from those texts that you want to be private? Are the issues that will arise? Are the things that are germinating and growing from those conversations that you just call text? And remember, texts are conversation between you and another person, or you and other people.
Yes.
Are the effects of that going to be private? How private is the issue of HIV and AIDS? How private is the issue of extramarital sexual affairs within marriage?
Yes.
How private are they? How long do you intend to keep them private? You know, the Swahili say, kikulacho kinguoni mwako. Hata kama hukioni, ni vizuri kugundua cha kukula, cha kutikirinya.
Yes.
Panapo kuendelea na kutikirinywa utacheka, na ukicheka mambo yatatipuka. We have seen people who have gone with this theoretical framework, with this direction, with this trajectory.
Yes.
What is the end result? Is it good then, if I may ask, to not keep them private, so that then you and your partner, when the Wangeshis, the Wanjiros, the Susans, when they start calling you, when they start texting you, you can arrest them early. When it is still at high. It begins with high. Then it generates to high. I miss you a little bit. When it is at this stage, when every relationship is at a very primal stage, is it good for us to arrest it? Is it good for us to leave it until when it is already a really formed and mature relationship? And then we see, and then normally we say, the normal rotating thing is that in your partner's phone, hapo kuna ndimu. Kabla iwe ndimu, je, ndimu huanza ikiwa mbegu? Does an onion begin as a seedling stage? Does the ndimu begin as a seedling when it is not bitter? Can we arrest it at early stage? But if we allow ourselves to be shrouded, then to be secret, then we must ask ourselves, for how long? Why then do we want to live in a lie? That, okay, my phone is private, it is confidential for me. Allow me have it, because if I check on your phone, I will cry. And if I don't check on your phone, I will not cry. Does it mean then there is no problem? The mere assumption or acceptance that if I touch my partner's phone, I will cry, is simply an acceptance or a go away that there is some problem. There is already some problem. Do we need then to solve it? If we have to save our marriages, because remember we are discussing this so that we can save many of our people, so that they can arrest problems at the primal stage. Do I believe there is secrecy? If anyone can prove that that secrecy is for lifetime and it will never be known, then we can go by it. But remember, every secret has been proven to have been known. A secret is for one. Once it leaves one person, it's no longer a secret. You have to keep it, the other person has to keep it. The other person has to keep hiding, the other person has to keep hiding. So you keep many secrets, and one secret leads to the other. You have, by the end of it, do you become partners? Do you become married people? Or you become strangers? Two strangers living in the same house. What is the direction of two strangers living in the same house? Remember, two that are married must speak together, must always be going in the same direction. Must have the same values, must be together in the way they are doing things. So if we normalize that my phone is my phone, yes, but then does it mean there is nothing going on there? If there is nothing going on there, well and good. But if there are secrets that you are hiding from the other partner, you are not brewing secrets, you're brewing problem. You're brewing a growing relationship. You're brewing an avenue for HIV. You're brewing an avenue for a small relationship for your father, your husband to become a baby daddy. You're brewing an avenue for breakup. You're simply saying, I really want to protect my breakup. Is this what we are saying? Is this what we want to keep for our marriages? If not, then we must do away with secrecy to allow our partners and ourselves chance to arrest problem before they are too big.
Wow. And one of the statements that most Kenyans keep saying is mambo ya watu wawili wanajifunika blanketi moja wachana nayo. And from where I am seated, I know trust is one of the main ingredients, or rather the foundation of a marriage or a relationship. What do you think of early diagnosis?
Speaking of trust, we must understand the principle of trust. Being that I trust you does not mean then that when I check into your phone, I am looking for problem. That I'm going to you through your WhatsApp to check is he cheating or not cheating. If you're there, then that is as an aspect of insecurity.
Yeah.
These are two separate things. But the fact that you trust somebody means that they also trust themselves. Then there is no problem. And I agree with you that if you two are upholders of the principle of trust,
Yes.
then there is no secrecy. Then there is no privacy. But let us even discuss even further. What is the concept of privacy for people who, you say, wanajifunika blanketi moja? What is the concept of trust? Do we mean that we trust ourselves here, but we don't want to trust ourselves here? Yeah. We want to uphold this principle, but we want to break this principle. And the beauty of scientific principles, and this is something that I want our viewers to go home with, that every principle you violate does not work for you. If you violate the principle, for instance, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. If you heat it to 50 degrees Celsius, it will not boil. And if you heat it past 100 degrees Celsius, it will start vaporizing. These are the clear ways of marriage. If you have secrecy, if you allow secrecy, if you allow so many secrecies in your marriages, you start drifting apart together. You start drifting apart together. You always want to press your phone hiding. You always want to go into those messages in a hiding and conniving manner, simply because your conscience is already telling you that things are not right. And if your conscience is already telling you, then the problem is already there. And most of our times, we have allowed ourselves this understanding that my phone is my phone, your phone is your phone, and we have discovered problems way too late.
Yes.
Come into the question of early diagnosis. This one is in tandem with the principle of medicine, that if you have cholera, if you have malaria, if you have, for instance, even HIV/AIDS, which is a topical issue, you do not become HIV positive after the test. Even when you're going to work for the VCT and you're HIV positive, before the slip shows that you're HIV positive, you're already there.
Yes.
There is something that happened that you got positive through all the means. And even malaria, if you get bitten by an Anopheles mosquito and you are already infected with malaria virus or anything that it may be, you do not become positive of malaria once you get to the hospital and the doctor runs some tests and tells you now you're suffering from malaria. No, you already have signs and symptoms of it.
Yeah.
Can we allow ourselves to detect the signs and symptoms of the problems that break our marriages? Can we arrest them earlier? And if we all arrest them earlier, will we be reducing the breakages in our marriages? Of course we will. We will reduce the number of times that we go to divorces. Divorces will reduce. And if many can give you examples, what began as a single text might have led to a divorce. Yeah. But would have we avoided this divorce if we arrested it at the single text? And why am I so concerned with the phone? This is the primary mode of communication now.
Yes.
Long time people, our forefathers were a bit lucky, I might say. Everything that comes with its own problems. They used to do horn blowing. Before you went and had a relationship, you would have been found in a certain corner with X, Y, and Z. But remember now we have mobile phones. We have passwords.
Yes.
No matter how you encrypt your phone, I want to remind my viewers that the effects of what you are doing are not private. The effects of what is happening in that phone cannot be dealt with in secrecy. It will come out. Ni kama ujauzito, tumbo litatupa nguo. Na likitupa nguo itakuwa ni mchana wazi. People, it will be out. So what was the value of this secrecy when it will lead you to even higher kitungus? Let us detect the onion while it is still a seedling. There is wisdom in early detection, because then a lot of therapy can be done. You can go to early counseling. You can speak to each other And I'm saying we can speak to each other. We can correct things in marriage, and we can save our marriage institution. Why am I so interested in marriage? This is the primary foundation of a nation.
Yeah.
It is the basis of every society. When we protect our marriages, then we have a country to keep. We have a society to keep. We have safe havens for our children to be brought up. Then it is important that we agree this or disagree with this. And when we disagree with this, we must then uphold a measure that will help us do early detection of problems before they aggravate.
Yes.
Yes.
Let me give you a practical example, and I
Yes.
want you to respond to this practical example.
Yes.
Now let's use me. I'm married.
Yes.
And now I am seated near my husband. And then my husband's phone rings. Somebody's calling. And then he wakes up and he decides he's going to pick that call at a different place, not near me.
Okay.
Is there a problem?
I wouldn't say there is a problem outwardly. Because I would say, number one, we must be people who are judged by our own conscience. And what is character? Character is who you are when you are at individual space. What is then our character? Why does your husband leave you to discuss? Probably it requires privacy based on that it is for his job, or it requires something. But if his conscience, if his character is pricking him, then it is wrong. You are not always positive of malaria when the sleep tells you you are infected with malaria. You always have the symptoms of malaria.
Yeah.
The symptoms of malaria, before you get to the hospital, you're feeling a little bit diarrhea, you're feeling a little bit of loss of appetite, and you're feeling a little bit of increase in temperature. These are the signs and telltale directions, similar to those of a marriage. That when you discover that your husband has text, it is not there, that it is not the discovery through your phone that makes you discover, oh, that then he is cheating. It is not your phone that makes it. It begins from where he picks up the number and he makes a conscious decision that that is the direction they will go. So if your husband is picking the phone over in the toilet, it is based on his conscience that is pricking him. Remember, the Swahili are always very clear about it, about vile mtu mwenye kitu hujishuku, and we don't want to rehash that methali because it's within the domain of the public. But I want to say the guilty are always guilty. That when you're guilty of something, you will always sound a little bit shaky.
Yes.
So it depends with the reason as to why he needs to run into the to the bathroom or into his privacy to pick his phones. If the reasons are clear, then there is no, it is okay. It is well within, it is allowed. But if there is a problem, if then it becomes mazoea, when every now and then you need to be aware of the signs and symptoms. You need to be aware of this. You need to start understanding why all of a sudden does he do this. And because people undergo courtship, relationship, and all this, and then marriage, all of a sudden he has started going to the bathroom to pick his phone. All of a sudden it has become uncomfortable to pick his calls next to you. Then there is something, there is a problem. And when we hide problems down, they only come to eat us. Ni vyema, the Swahili say it is wise, ni vyema kujenga nyufa kuliko ukuta mzima. It is better to fill that small crack before the whole wall is broken. I am requesting our viewers, within our marriages, let us look for these small cracks. Let us seal them, because it is easier, it is less costly, it is less time consuming, it is less emotionally demanding. Kuna kama katika simu kuna kitunguu, then katika breakup kuna vitunguu vingi. Kuna sijui kama nitasema ni mapiripiri. Kuna machungu mengi pale. So if we all value our marriages, let us arrest problems early. Early diagnosis is good.
And there's this show on YouTube. It's called Comrade Flavor. I think I've been watching it for quite some time. Where this guy walks and meets a couple, and he stops them and tells them, can I go through your phone? And if I find out you're trustworthy to your partner, I will give you a certain amount of money. And according to statistics, a lot of marriages and relationships are ending right there because people have secrets that they have kept for so many years. You find people have children that their other partners don't know about, and that has broken so many marriages. What do you think about prevention and cure? Do you think we should prevent or we should cure it? Where do we draw the line?
I have always believed in the school of thought of prevention being better than cure, because it is less costly, it's less demanding, it saves a lot, even in terms of resources and everything. In my own view, I say in marriages, prevention is better than cure. And what do I mean? I mean that it is better to prevent these small relationships as they begin. And let us be very clear that what makes people say simu yangu ni yangu na yako ni yako, it's not because they are contacts. Your husband does not fear you to see contacts. Your husband does not fear to see you having WhatsApp. They know you have a WhatsApp. They even call you. They know you have things. It is the conversations that you are having inside there that are the problem. And why are you uncomfortable? You are uncomfortable because there is already a problem. It's already an acceptance that there is already a problem. And there are conversations that your husband would be free. For instance, if WhatsApp would be separating those conversations of your father and your mother, would your husband have problem in them? Would he discuss them under privacy? No. Most cases, because your father, it's very okay. But if it is conversation between him and somebody else, they will even want to save them in a secret way. They will want to talk with them during secret hours, because already their conscience is already clear that there is a problem. Any one of these two partners already understands that there is a problem. And let me tell you, you've just mentioned the show of YouTube. Forgive my ignorance, I don't know it a little bit more. But if then that is true, it means that these marriages do not end when this guy appears. The problem is already there. It's just that you have not known.
Yes.
And this is what I was telling you. If you are suffering from malaria, it is not the doctor that tells you you are now suffering from malaria. Malaria is always inside you. And the beauty of going to the doctor, if it is early enough, you can be given some antibiotic, some anti-malarials, and you recover. Can we allow ourselves to always go to doctors that are counselors? That even as ourselves, as married couples, we can be counselors of our own self. You meet your husband with this text, you say, okay, my dear, or what you normally call each other, and say, this and this is not appropriate. And then you arrest it earlier, and it becomes something like an antibiotic. Before it becomes a wound, before it aggravates to serious malaria, before it is now malignant and problematic, and now we are speaking about separation, divorces and enmity, or even killings. Before it reaches to where couples are stabbing each other, the problem would have been discovered early, and prevention would have always been better than cure. Because at the cure stage of marriage, we are talking about breakups, we are talking about divorces, we are talking about murder, we are talking about suicide, and we are talking about all these social evils that are in our everyday life now. I'm talking to my viewer and I'm saying, your marriage, you can decide to always be a couple that prevents and never goes to cure. You can decide to be a couple that always upholds the principle of early diagnosis. And when you decide to cure and do early diagnosis, we are saying, let's not have secrecy, because the consequences at the cure stage are not private. Divorce is not private. Murder is not private. Broken families is not private. Broken dreams is not private. It is messy before it gets there. Let us arrest the problems a bit early.
What you don't know does not kill you.
Yes.
Do you believe in passwords? Is it okay to have passwords on our phones?
What you do not know does not kill you, but it's already there. It is brewing to kill you in an even brutal, nasty manner.
Wow.
What you don't know does not kill you is, in my own perspective, is a statement that is casually left out there. But if we understand it even deeper, it changes to what you do not know is dangerous to your life. Because ultimately, it is waiting and aiming and increasing and pulling towards higher velocities so that it will kill with one shot. Ultimately, it will kill you. And see, to all relationships, all marriages that broke, there was something that they didn't know. But ultimately, they knew. But they knew when it was too late.
And most of the time, we will tell our partners, I wish you told me earlier.
I wish I knew earlier. But I wish I knew. Probably time has already passed. Can we allow ourselves avenues to know? Because we want to say this, because, and the beauty of what we are saying, we are not saying that you have no, we remove secrecies in marriage to break up marriages. We are saying, let us avoid all these secrecies so that we prevent breakups, we prevent divorces, we arrest problems at an early stage.
Yes.
Let us make our marriages safe havens. Let us not allow what does not kill us. Not kill us today, but kill us tomorrow. There is no wisdom in that.
Yes.
There is no wisdom in saying, let me keep this problem, let me keep this atomic bomb here. It will kill me tomorrow. The end of it is death.
Yes.
So let us avoid it and let us have more life. Because the opposite of what does not kill you is what you know breeds more life. Why can't we flip-flop that in our marriages and we have more life in our marriages? We avoid the killings in our marriages. And what is the concept of death? It does not only mean the lack of life. And the most dangerous part of it is dying when you're still alive. So we must ensure that our marriages are alive and well. And when they are alive and well, it means that both the two couples are able to communicate. They are able to effectively solve their problems when they come, because problems will always come. You will always have partners who will text your husband, male and female. It is allowed. There is no problem with anyone texting your husband as long as there is an issue of trust. But we said we must have trust in the correct way. Yes, we must not under the yoke of trust put in issues that will injure the marriage, that will be injurious to the marriage. But if they are there because they are born to be there, if it is best if they are discovered early, arrested early, and solved early. Yes, we will have homes, we will have marriages. Yes.
You've talked about fixing the cracks in our walls instead of waiting to rebuild the entire wall.
Yes.
And I know sometimes it gets to people, especially in their marriages, where they don't trust their partners. Maybe there are things that have happened before, and they don't know how to handle that. Maybe for now you can talk to the viewers. What is the remedy? What is the remedy of all this?
I have always believed that when you discover you're in the wrong direction, there is always a reverse gear. Every car has a drive gear that moves forward. And every car has a reverse gear. There is a point of self-realization that you realize that my marriage is undergoing several hiccups. My marriage is undergoing several challenges. Our communication is not as it used to be. It is not as rosy as it used to be. It is not as when we used to sing Kenny Rogers and Alan Jackson songs of love and buy and see the sunset together. We are not in those moments. But then we can always trace ourselves back. Can you go for a retreat? Can you go for an outing? Can you discuss? Can you be true to yourself? Can you remove secrecy? Because we've said a secret is okay when it is with you, but the consequences of that secret are not private. They are not confidential. They are not personal as you may want them to be. But then you can always retract back. Can you retract back? If it is too hard for both of you to retract back, can you find somebody who is mature of age, who has come of age and time, who is tested, who can be a counselor, who can be an intermediate between the two of you, and begin in truth. Begin in the right footage. Remember, we said every principle that you violate does not work for you. They are principles of marriage: proper communication, effective breeding together, and lack of those secrecy. All these principles, if you violate them, they will not work for you, and there are costs to pay for these broken principles. So if you have been in the wrong trajectory, let us all engage in the reverse gear. Asante sana. let us save our marriages, because when we save our marriages, we have a society. If we save our society, we have a country. If we save a country, we have a continent. We have a place, and a better place to live in.
And that also comes with peace of mind.
Of course,
that
most
is
definitely.
Important.
You will have peace of mind.
Yes.
Your phone will not be your enemy. Your blood pressure will be relaxed, because you will not be wondering, oh, who is that? You will no longer need to answer your phones in the toilet.
Yes.
We will be comfortable. Home will be a place for peace of mind.
Wow, powerful. Na wale wako na masikio si wamesikia?
Asanteni sana.
Thank you for interacting with us. Maybe as we await for the next session that will be on very soon, how can people find Milestone Sociologist?
In all our social media handles, it is Milestone Sociologist. That means YouTube channel, Milestone Sociologist. In TikTok, Milestone Sociologist. In Twitter, Milestone Sociologist. And in Facebook, Milestone Sociologist. Most importantly, you can go to our inbox if it is very private inboxes. If you have a general comment, drop it within the comment section. The sociologist will engage with it and most definitely give you a reply, because it is fundamental that we talk to each other. When we stop talking to each other, things go wrong.
It can be done.
It will be done. We only need to do
our part. Thank you.
Asanteni sana.